There, you're filming.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sprague Homestead. So this week is going to be a challenge for a live stream simply because the fire and everything going along with it. So we thought today we'll kind of give you an update as of Monday. It is the 12th of July and it's about, 10:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
So we'll kind of give you an update on what's going on with the fire. And first off, I guess to say we are safe for now.
So a little background, if you haven't been paying attention or you're not on the West Coast, although we are now getting national attention for the fire. So it's called the Bootleg fire. It started on Fuego Mountain outside of Sprague River on Tuesday afternoon. It was first reported like 1:45.
Yeah.
Within a matter of an hour, it was at 100 acres. By that evening, it was at 3,000. And it has doubled or better every single day since, with the exception of yesterday. Weather conditions changed a little bit yesterday, and it was more moderate fire activity. We say that, but it was already up to 143,000 acres yesterday morning. And this morning, the update is just officially just over 153.
Yeah, I think it's about 153,000 acres as of last night. Officially, this morning, one of our local residents here is pretty savvy on the web. He's using NASA's database, using thermal imaging from satellites, and he's got it targeted somewhere around 173,000 acres.
Now, right now, there's no containment. It's kind of bebopped a little bit up and down. It went from 0 to 1, back to 0, back to 1, back to 0. It's an extremely hot fire, so they are only getting hand crews in there during the afternoon and into the evening hours. If you know much about firefighting, especially here on the West Coast, they don't do a lot of firefighting at night typically. This one is different. They can't get in there during the day. What it's doing is it's putting up these big pyrocumulus clouds, and basically as they come up and they stack up, they suck air into the bottom of them as they're going up, and for a while that stalls the fire out just a little bit as it's rushing back in. But once they achieve peak, and I got this from the community thing yesterday, my dad went, when they've hit peak, they collapse in and of themselves, and that means that it will actually push hot air back down. What they're saying at the ground level, it can be as high as 60 miles an hour. So it kind of, and then it just sucks all the air back down and pushes it out. So it's been growing very, very quickly. Donnie Boyd, one of our county commissioners, was there yesterday. And he is not at all optimistic. They think that in 3 days' time, this could be in the Gearhart Wilderness, which is actually out in Lake County, because it's already crossed the border into Lake County, which has a bunch of beetle kill. And they think if it hits that, there will be no stopping it. And we could be looking at as much as 500,000 acres before this whole thing is said and done. It's already on the fast track to be the largest fire in Oregon history, and if that happens, it definitely is going to be there. So that's kind of what's going on with it.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the Facebook page. I've been trying to give updates. So we're sitting this morning as of, I think, about 8 o'clock, 8:30. We were roughly about 10.2 miles from the closest line of fire. Now, Nikki's parents, of course, we've always mentioned they're about 1.5 miles up the road. They're sitting around 9 miles even to the fire. So the fire is on the northeast side of Sprague River, and they have containment for Klamath Falls Estates and some of the housing up there. There is a river, the Sprague River actually kind of flanks it out on the west and south sides of the fire, so that fire is going to have to go over the Sprague River. It would have to either go through or around the town of Sprague River just to even get to our side to where it would be threatening us. So at this point, I won't say it's out of the possibility that it can do that, but right now there are so many firefighters, and they've hit it with retardant planes, they've hit it with bucket copters. everything they can do. They've got containment as best they can.
Well, no containment. They've
Well,
got lines.
lines, containment lines, I guess, to try and stop it from getting up that way.
They
Hello,
attempted a couple nights ago to do a back burn and lost control of the back burn. So that's been a big deal. Supposedly there's 2 subdivisions that they think might be gone, Sycan and Oregon Pines. The fire is very intense through there. They have not been even able to get anybody in to confirm, but based on satellite data, it's probably gone. So right now the fire is about 4 miles from the town of Sprague River. It's, from the latest imaging that I could find, about 3 miles from the town of Beatty and about 4 or 5 miles from the town of Bly. It's a monster. It's miles and miles and miles wide at this point. It's still about, 2.5, 3 miles off the back of Klamath Forest Estates. And where we're worried about it, so they've set up lines at the top of the estates. But looking at the map, if it comes back around to the west, and that's the thing, is they're not really worried about the western edge of this thing because the winds have been pushing it east. But when it started on Tuesday, it was 12.5 miles from us, and it's down to just barely 10. So it's been creeping forward, and what it's starting to do now, based on the mapping, is they've done a good job at trying to keep it out of the estates, which makes sense. There's a lot of people up there, but it's starting to creep out and around. And that's what worries me more than anything, is if it gets out and around, it could make it to the Sprague River Highway. If it makes it across the highway, there's a very good chance it could come into the backside of us. Granted, it's still 10 miles, but 10 miles is not a lot when it's
10 miles is a day and a half at the way things are going.
Especially if the winds change direction at all. And this time of year, we're pretty consistent coming and blowing towards the east, so it shouldn't, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
So, the big things are we're, kind of readying ourselves for the worst.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You should.
So I've got a good group of rabbit raising friends and just farm people in general that I know in Klamath that have offered very graciously extra carriers to get rabbits out. A friend that's got a stock trailer has offered to come get livestock if needed. And I've got a friend in Montana that's like, I'm 13 hours away, and you say the word and we'll come. So nowhere near that point yet. But we want to thank everybody that's been reaching out and checking in on us. And it's a doozy, man. People are losing their homes, and that's a serious deal. So far, I've not seen any reports of anybody getting hurt, any reports of any fatalities. But homes have been lost, which is a rough deal.
Yeah.
So
that's all I got. I was just, as Nikki was talking about the things that we're trying to get out of here, I was just kind of scanning around, looking around, thinking, as much as we're going to save as many animal lives as we have, there is a lot of stuff here that we're just going to keep our fingers crossed. You've got tractor, quad, Suburbans. I mean, we will get everything we can out of here and probably pile everything we can as close to the center of the driveway here, and just hope that these containment lines that we worked on for years and all the bushes and trees that we tried to get out in a way that it's enough that with this proof of concept actually works, that all the containment that we've done actually saves things, and we have things to come back to. Because if we don't, expect a revamp, I guess, on the channel. There you go. How to start over after a fire. It's going to be a...
Well, I'm still thinking it's not going to come to that.
It probably won't. But I'm going to keep my fingers crossed.
The bad thing is, I was supposed to get the fire lines recut at the end of March or at the end of May. And then we were sick, so it didn't happen. And then it got uber dry. So the last time they've officially been cut in was about six years ago. But there's not a lot of vegetation on it. Things don't grow terribly fast here. So we have a squad of Nigerian dwarf goats. in the trailer, and we are moving them 32 feet at a time every day down the fence line and letting them just absolutely pick it down to dirt. I don't usually do that, but right now 50 would be ideal. 30 is the bare minimum, is what the Forest Service tells you for a good defensible fire line. So they are moving around. If the fire gets closer, we'll probably take the chance on it, put the box blade on the tractor and regrade them ourselves. Right now, it's not worth the risk. We have enough rock in the soil that we're just as likely to accidentally spark off a fire as anything. So we're biding our time, trying to stay out of that. I am taking a little limb saw and kind of going up around some of the trees and doing what we can. But yeah, so far so good. We're okay. My folks are okay. Most of the people we know up in the estates got all their animals out and have left the estates. They're on level 2 and just not willing to take the risk on it. Some of them were up there when Moccasin Hill fire happened 7 years ago, so they know how fast it'll go up there. So it's kind of the deal, but we wanted to kind of give everybody an update as to what was going on. And
it'll probably be radio silent most of the time, other than like Facebook, where we can easily share images, and sharing video is really, really tough. I'm telling you, I tried to do work today because the internet is so spotty, and all of our 4G towers that we use for everything is north of us, which is right in the fire. Essentially, it's very close. So our internet is kind of just up and down. Sharing video is very, very, it's probably not going to happen. I struggled to get through work this morning just because it was so choppy.
Yeah,
trying to get things done.
So we're going to get this uploaded. One of us is going to go into town and we'll get this uploaded from Klamath. But yeah, and we've had the retardant planes flying right over the top of the farm. And when they do that, about 30 seconds before and then for about 5 minutes after, completely knocks the wireless out. So I'm not sure exactly what the deal is there, but to say it's been spotty, the other day I put one of the pictures up that we've shared out, and it took 45 minutes to get a little photo to upload. So been a little rough, but hey, we're here, we're alive. We're dealing with the intense smoke, which you can't see, but it is funneling in right now. I bet we don't have visibility even of a quarter mile at this point.
No way.
Yeah, the other morning, it was down to about 500 feet is all. We couldn't see the gate at the end of the driveway. So definitely kind of rough, but I will say, if you're the praying sort, keep the prayers coming, not for us, but for all the people directly in the path of this thing. Far more worried about the people to the east of this. Like I said, those areas of the estates in Sprague River, Beatty and Bly, and people that are losing their homes and in the level 3 areas. So kind of a rough deal. We really feel for those people, and we'll kind of see how it all shakes out. But it's going to be rough. Right now they're saying, originally when it broke out, they said estimated containment at the end of July. They bumped it out to November today. And I think that's just got to put something in the magic field, and they really have no idea. There's over 1,000 people working this fire. They had 5 bucket copters yesterday, and something like 8 or 9 retardant planes are even pulling out of Redmond, Oregon. Dozers, water tenders, type 1 and type 2 attack teams, hand crews, the whole 9 yards. So keep those people in your prayers too a little bit. Firefighters are out working hard, and this is a hot fire and really bad terrain. So